Good morning and welcome to Pitt to the Point. I'm Jamie Ely.
And I'm Josh Byrne. Pitt to the Point is your weekly 1-hour news and magazine program that airs live from the state-of-the-art Pitt studios.
Pitt to the Point covers everything from the University of Pittsburgh to the City of Pittsburgh, as well as national and international events, news, people, and stories.
This is the second year of Pitt to the Point, and we have your favorite segments, as well as new features, including weekly live reports about all of our incredible University of Pittsburgh campuses.
We have a new segment specifically for giving you the latest from the world of business and technology.
And one of the new segments that we are truly excited about is our college and high school report. We'll be joined live by our affiliate college and high school partners each week, and their high school anchors will tell you everything you need to know about their school and their community.
And of course, we'll continue to bring you the most up-to-date from the news from the world of politics, sports, medicine, and entertainment in the city of Pittsburgh and at the University of Pittsburgh.
You got that right, Jamie. Now, today we begin our show with a story about bridges. Now, here in Pittsburgh, bridges are kind of a big deal. They've been at the forefront of people's minds ever since the Fern Hollow Bridge collapsed 1 year ago.
Now, as the Fern Hollow Bridge is reopening after a speedy rebuild, another bridge in Pittsburgh is being closed for fear of collapse.
The Charles Anderson Bridge in Shenley Park has been closed effective immediately. The bridge, which carries Boulevard of the Allies traffic, connects Central and South Oakland with Shenley Park.
The bridge, which is expected to be closed for about 4 months, is also expected to cause heavier traffic in the Oakland community. Now, while the Charles Anderson Bridge is closed, the bridge that put Pittsburgh in the news is once again open, partially. The Fern Hollow Bridge is reopened late December of 2022, but locals are still feeling the effects of the collapse.
Yeah, I was about to say, that is because the bridge is not completely finished. Construction vehicles are still on the bridge and workers are still clearing rubble from beneath it. The new bridge is expected to open, though, sometime this spring.
Now, partisanship has been strangling legislation in recent years, both at the state and federal levels. This is very apparent in Pennsylvania, where the problem got worse when Democrats won a razor-thin margin in the House this past November.
However, the Speaker of the House, Mark Rossi, is hoping to fix that. For more on how he's trying to reach across the aisle, we have our amazing political reporter, Alexandra Ross. Alexandra, what do you got?
Thank you, Josh. Partisanship is a huge problem in our country. At the state, the local, and the national level, it's basically become the norm rather than the exception. But Pennsylvania's Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mark Rossi, decided he wasn't just going to depend on his fellow representatives for the answers.
Instead, I want to do something that my colleagues may consider radical, and that is I want to hear directly from the people of Pennsylvania.
Rossi kicked off a statewide listening tour last Wednesday in Pittsburgh, just 1 day after adjourning the House until February 27th. Republicans hold the House with a slim majority, but the chamber will likely flip to a thin Democratic majority after special elections this month, causing confusion about who controls the chamber now. House Republicans elected Rossi, a Democrat, to Speaker as a compromise. He promised to lead independently and push bipartisanship. But over the following 3 weeks, these promises proved nearly impossible to keep. Rossi turned to the people for answers.
And instead, we, this bipartisan work group, are here to listen.
The tour started at Carnegie Mellon University, where Rossi invited all kinds of suggestions for solving this partisan divide. The crowd of roughly 80 people encouraged more bipartisan cooperation and said they want to see the legislative process be more transparent to constituents.
Right now, our representatives can't represent us because the body's rules are used not to foster deliberation and debate, but to delay and obstruct.
But the listening tour's most notable moment came in Philadelphia days later from a lobbyist who said a Pennsylvania lawmaker sexually harassed her.
There are no current protections and thus no accountability when sexual harassment occurs to someone like me.
Andy Perez of Service Employees International Union alleged that an unnamed lawmaker inappropriately touched her leg while discussing legislation. Perez said the House Ethics Committee did not allow her to file a complaint against him because she is not an employee of the House. Perez called upon legislators to support rule changes that would allow anyone to bring a complaint against a lawmaker.
No one is above the law. A lawmaker who harasses someone should be held accountable by their own peers through an ethics process.
Rozzi finished up the listening tour with 2 more stops in State College and Wilkes-Barre this week.
Last night at the last stop of the tour, Rozzi thanked for coming out and speaking their minds on this important issue. Now, the House is not set to reconvene until February 27th, so we'll have to wait until then to see if Rozzi is able to take this feedback and channel it towards creating a more cooperative and bipartisan chamber. I know I'll certainly be looking out for that. For Pitt to the Point, I'm your political reporter, Alexandra Ross. Josh, Jamie?
Thanks, Alexandra. Oakland residents this week learned some disheartening news with the announcement of a popular restaurant's closure.
That's right. Mad Mex in Oakland announced its closure after 30 years in business. Our Pitt beat reporter Michelle Spiller has more on this closure and its effect on the Oakland community. Michelle?
Thanks, Josh. Over 30 years, Mad Max has been in business as an iconic Mexican restaurant here in Oakland. Alumni, students, and community members are all devastated to hear the news that it's closing. We spoke to Oakland residents to hear what they thought about the effects of this event in the area.
Opening in 1983, Mad Mex has always been a staple location in Oakland for locals. It was the original location and was always booming with members of the Oakland community. On January 31st, the restaurant announced that they're officially closing their doors.
Well, I've actually never been to Mad Mex. However, I've heard how iconic and good it really is. I was literally planning on going this weekend or next weekend. So I am really sad to hear that it's closing because I wish I got a chance to try it.
My favorite memories at Mad Mex are celebrating birthdays, breakups, and hanging out with my friends there and just going there to get food.
I got a burrito there, and it's the biggest burrito I've ever seen in my entire life. And I luckily got to take half of it home, and that was amazing.
Huge nacho bowls with all the peppers and everything on it. Share it with you can have it to yourself or you can share it with 4 people almost.
So now that Mad Max is closed, me and my friends are probably just gonna go to different places. But it's just the convenience of Mad Max is great, so.
I think Mad Max closing will affect people being in Oakland even, just going other places like downtown or other neighborhoods for food. I think staffing wise too, a lot of people are gonna be out of jobs then for Mad Max closing.
A lot of restaurants during COVID times had to close, reopen because of staff issues and just a lot of the mandates coming from the state. And so it's been tough.
I think it's affected businesses and that businesses are suffering. People going through very dark places. Anti-socialization has kind of become incurrent in the population. And I think people are struggling to pay wages.
With the coronavirus pandemic shutting down the world, Mad Mex temporarily closed in 2020. Reopening in fall 2022, they had ongoing staffing and operational issues, causing them to decide to officially close. Although this is a loss for the community, there are other locations such as Shady Side that have a Mad Max of their own.
Oakland residents have seen many restaurants come and go within this area. Shops such as the Hot Dog Shop and the Thirsty Scholars have been seen here and gone really quickly, especially because of COVID. Unfortunately, we don't have a Mad Max here anymore in Oakland, but Shady Side is just a bus stop away. Along with that, restaurants are constantly opening up in the Oakland area. From Pitt to the Point, I'm Pitt beat reporter Michelle Spiller. Jamie, Josh.
Thank you, Michelle. Now, in your opinion, what are some good ideas to replace Mad Mex at that now vacant property?
Well, from hearing from a lot of students, everyone's looking forward to a new Mexican restaurant coming into that area. Everyone could use another place to get some margs on the weekend.
Thank you so much, Michelle. We here at Pitt to the Point are very excited to introduce a new segment. Not only are we bringing you the most up-to-date news about the University of Pittsburgh and the City of Pittsburgh, but we're also bringing you the latest about our regional campuses.
That's right, Jamie. No matter if you're in Bradford or Greensburg, Johnstown or Titusville, you will always be kept up to date with all of the happenings at the University of Pittsburgh. And there is a saying here at Pitt, progress is always in progress. Well, 2 University of Pittsburgh campuses took that idea and ran with it.
Yes, Josh. In an effort to keep up with the latest advances in learning and education, Pitt Bradford and Pitt Greensburg announced the openings of 2 new buildings on their campuses designed to help students learn and grow. For more on this, we go to our regional campus reporter, Paige Allen, for more. Paige?
So speaking on behalf of my own campus today, Pitt Bradford recently unveiled its new George B. Duke Engineering and Information Technologies building, and it opened on January 11th, which is just in time for the start of the spring semester.
The new George B. Duke Engineering Building at Pitt Bradford is 39,000 square feet and took $24.5 million to build. It is home to engineering shops and labs, a virtual reality lab, networking lab, makerspace, fabrication space, and offers communal areas for both engineering and non-engineering students to study or collaborate on projects. This building houses state-of-the-art engineering equipment, which gives students the opportunity to receive hands-on experience.
I am extremely excited to be here. The new engineering building opens up a lot more opportunities for me personally as a student, as I'm able to stay here for 4 years. It allows me to indulge within different machinery and tools that I have used before, as well as other machinery and tools that I have no familiarity with. I'm excited to be able to use the new machinery as well as get even more familiar with these tools now that I have a lot more access to them.
Being a mechanical engineer here at Pitt Bradford, the Duke Engineering Building provides a lot of benefits to the new students coming in. The 4-year program being provided due to the building is great for oncoming students and transfer students also. The experience here is great. There's a lot of new tech, a lot of new machines downstairs, hands-on, like CNC, CAD, and the list goes on.
I love this building because it's going to bring more CIST students, more engineering students, and it's going to bring a lot of people to this campus, and it's going to bring a lot of smart people to this campus.
It's going to just really bring to the campus the ability to have 4-year engineering degrees, CIST projects that the students are going to be able to work on that go well above and beyond what they've been able to work on before, especially with the VR lab, having all the VR headsets, being able to work in groups and be able to share what they're working on with the rest of the class, or even just their smaller group within the pod that they're working at. All of the engineering equipment, they're going to be able to get hands-on with real-world equipment that they're going to be using when they leave here and get jobs out there. And it'll make it easier to get jobs because they're already going to have experience with all that type of equipment and materials that exist. So, yeah, going to be a great boon for the university.
So we will be keeping you updated on all of the progression and student-led projects that are going to be created within this building. Live from Pitt Bradford, I'm your Pitt to the Point regional campus reporter, Paige Allen. Jamie, Josh?
Thank you so much, Paige. Now, let me ask, of the departments you mentioned, such as nursing, bioengineering, or life sciences, which department do you think is going to be helped out the most by these new buildings?
So I actually have yet to decide that, because over the weekend, I will be going to Greensburg to actually tour and interview some of their professors and students about that life sciences building. So I'll have to get back to you on that one.
All right, thank you so much, Paige. Coming up, one social media giant might be in big trouble in the U.S., and the Panthers find out who they face on the football schedule for this upcoming season. Find out about the much-awaited schedule after the break.
Also after the break, we have an exclusive on one Pitt footballer who's hoping to make it to the big time. Stick around for all this and more on Pitt to the Point.
H2P is short for Hail to Pitt, our Panther fight song. But we also use it to express just how much we love it here. There are so many reasons to hail, but here are just a few. Hail to Kathy!
Hail to the Nationality Room.
To WPTS Radio.
Hail to Oakland.
Hail to Shenley Plaza.
Hail to Forbes Avenue.
Hail to the towers.
Hail to Cardiac Hill. To Hillman Library.
Hail to the University of Pittsburgh.
Hail to Pittsburgh.
Hail to Heinz Field.
Hail to Pitt.
They come here, forged in the spirit of change, pushing to answer the questions, and then questioning the answers, embracing each challenge as fuel for reinventing the world. Because here, leadership, courage, creativity, innovation, and progress are always in progress. The University of Pittsburgh, forge ahead.
Thanks for tuning back in to Pitt to the Point. Watched a story today that piques your curiosity? Want to find out more about what's going on in Pittsburgh? Well, then check out our website.
That's right, Jamie. If you want to find out more about the world of politics, medicine, business, and technology, then you heard it here. Go check out pittothepoint.com.
Not only can you see clips from today's show, but you can also read more about the topics that interest you and more. Check it out at pittothepoint.com.
It reads like a spy thriller, a shadowy organization allegedly spying on American citizens through an online application.
As outlandish as that sounds, this is the accusation that TikTok has been facing. Now, the app might be at risk of a ban at the hands of some states' governments. For more on this, we go to our business and technology reporter, David Altman. David?
Thanks, Jamie. TikTok, an app with over 1 billion users and available in over 150 countries, is considered being banned across state colleges such as Alabama, Texas, South Dakota, and more. The app will be banned by prohibiting access to it on the campus Wi-Fi. Here with me, I have Ethan Blanco, a TikTok creator and a University of Pittsburgh student with over 1.7 million followers and over 90 million likes. Ethan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, good. Now I wanted to ask you, Ethan, how does TikTok benefit you as a creator?
Well, TikTok really has been the platform that I use to really pursue my passion of being an entertainer and a content creator. Ever since I honestly can remember, I've always wanted to be an entertainer. Like, I love making people laugh. I love making people smile. I love making videos, and I always wanted to do it, but I never really knew where to start with it. I remember it was literally like the first day of quarantine. Like, I was just like so bored, and I literally downloaded the app that day and just started making videos. It was just so fun for me. And it was just really like a great place to express myself and really pursued what I wanted to do.
Right. And would you figure you'd have the success you have today on the app at the time you downloaded it?
Oh, no, definitely not. No. If you told me I would have like over 3 million total followers in like all of my accounts, I actually would think you're crazy. Like my dumb videos. Are you kidding me?
Well, I've seen them and they're anything but that's amazing. Now, if Pitt were to go ahead and ban the app on the campus's Wi-Fi, do you think it would affect your personal viewership or the viewership of any other creator on the app?
Well, it wouldn't affect me that much. I mean, I can just turn the Wi-Fi off, honestly.
Right.
But in terms of viewership, I don't think it would really do that much damage. It's not like as if my entire audience is the University of Pittsburgh, and I don't really think it would affect that much people anyway, honestly. Like, if you go to Pitt, you know how terrible the Wi-Fi is here, honestly. So it wouldn't really make that much of a difference in the long run. I don't think a lot of people use it regardless. They're not really doing that much.
Right. It'd be great to get a break from that Wi-Fi every once in a while. Once in a while. Now, one more thing is that Governor Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, has made some accusations about the data collection of TikTok and how it's using its users to collect data from their phones for maybe advertising. Is there anything you'd like to clear up, or maybe anything you'd like to add on about that?
Well, I definitely understand some of the criticism because it's really not a big secret at this point that TikTok has been collecting users' data for a while. I remember I did a little bit of research into this, and they use this tracker that supposedly is called Pixel, which basically helps collect the user data to target ads and products. And that's probably also not a big surprise. I mean, the amount of times that you've probably talked about a specific product or service, and then you look at your phone like a half an hour later, you see an ad for that exact same thing you just talked about earlier. But I also, it's actually kind of funny because I saw that University of Michigan was using that exact same tracker that TikTok used, apparently. So if they were to do it, it would apparently be a little hypocritical, honestly.
Right.
But in terms of this whole collecting data aspect, it does go a little bit deeper than just an app. I think a lot of people don't understand that this is a political issue at heart because it's a Chinese-owned app. So I'm not going to get too deep into that. I'm not a political expert. I'm just the internet wackadoo. And I also don't want my name on some type of list. So I'm going to not comment too much on that. But I think a lot of people understand it's not because the government wants kids to not do cringy dances. It's because they don't want information in the hands of another country.
Stolen.
Exactly. That's literally what it is.
Well, for sure. Well, Ethan, we are rooting for you in your content creation endeavors. And for Pitt to the Point, I'm your business and technology reporter, David Altman. Back to you, Jamie and Josh.
Thank you, David and Ethan. Now, as you can see, we have a new backdrop. I personally love it, Jamie. I think it's great. It shows off the studio.
I think it's very pretty.
Yeah, speaking of other great and pretty things, Pitt football has come out with their schedule for the upcoming season, and with heightened expectations comes heightened hype. So let's go through it. The Panthers will kick off their season at home against Wofford on September 2nd and Cincinnati on the 9th. Pittsburgh will then travel to Morgantown for the bitter rival West Virginia game, otherwise known as the Backyard Brawl. But honestly, the most interesting game to me on this schedule is coming in mid to late November when Pitt takes on the Syracuse Orange at Yankee Stadium. So the Panthers are going to finally finish up with a Thursday game versus Boston College before visiting Duke on November 25th. And honestly, Jamie, I think it's going to be a great season. Now, some of those Panthers that have helped create this buzz in previous seasons are now setting their sights a little higher. They're moving on to the NFL draft, and one of those players is Servassier Dennis.
For more on the standout linebacker's future, as well as an update on Pittsburgh area native Damar Hamlin, we go to our city sports reporter, Nick Faribaugh. Nick?
Well, Damar Hamlin has been recovering, and it's a long, arduous road for the former Pitt safety and current Buffalo Bills safety. He collapsed on the field in Cincinnati, but now is recovering and sent out a thank you video for all the support he has received. But he's not without the support from teammates, including from one lifelong friend.
I'm so thankful to everybody. I know that it isn't enough just to be thankful. This is just the beginning of the impact that I wanted to have on the world. And with God's guidance, I will continue to do wonderful and great things. I couldn't do this without any of the support and the love, and I can't wait to continue to take y'all on this journey with me.
Damar Hamlin still has a long road of recovery ahead, but with the support of his family, friends, community, medical personnel, Bills teammates, and of course the city of Buffalo, Hamlin is well on his way to recovery, and he went out of his way to specifically thank the Bills Mafia.
To Bills Mafia, I just want to thank you so much for the genuine love and support. Ever since I became a Buffalo Bill, it's been nothing but genuine love and support, not even only for me, but everyone's situation, no matter what it was, Bills Mafia jumped behind it and gave 110% support, love, no matter the situation.
One of those teammates that is currently showing Damar Hamlin support is his lifelong friend and former Pitt and current Buffalo Bills teammate Dane Jackson. Jackson was horrified when he saw Hamlin collapse on the field in Cincinnati, but now he's with him every step of the way.
Blood of that Pitt secondary facility.
Yeah, that's like my little brother, man. Like every day it's all love, you know what I mean, between us. We grew up together, obviously. We went to the same college and stuff, so yeah, that's like a brother to me, and we treat it as such.
Jackson and Hamlin are both back here in Pittsburgh. Jackson was at the Miami game. I got to talk to him. He said Damar's in good spirits. He's doing a lot better. Currently looking to do some things with the charity money that he has received. But Damar Hamlin on the road to recovery and getting back onto the field in the NFL. He is hopeful of that. Speaking of an NFL field, though, I'm down here at the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama. Plenty of Pitt greats have been here before. Kenny Pickett, Aaron Donald, and so many more. But this year, it's Pitt linebacker Servassier Dennis, who is hoping to get his NFL draft future jump-started. And he practiced across from the Steelers for 4 years, and he's hoping he now doesn't have to go very far.
Good day. It's an honor to be out here. It's a blessing. And just being around these guys, you know, you compete every day, you get better, and you see the competition that you're up against, and it's a good feeling when you're around.
After playing in Pat Narduzzi's unique scheme at Pitt, Dennis came to the Senior Bowl to showcase a new side of his skills.
Definitely, and just my skills. Like, not everyone thinks, you know, our defense is a defense anyone runs in the NFL or anything like that. So I just wanted to come out here and show them that I can adapt and definitely get, you know, adapted to a new defense.
Practicing in front of the Steelers for 4 years, Dennis feels prepared for this moment.
Yeah, definitely. Here it's like all eyes are on you, everything you do, and when you're at Pitt, it's the same way. You're right next door to a NFL team, so it's the same way here. All eyes are on you, and you just got to be, you know, represent yourself well and good gentleman.
Now, Dennis is close to reaching his NFL dream.
That I'm a linebacker that I can definitely play in the NFL. You know, size doesn't matter, scheme doesn't matter. I can do it. So that's what I want to prove here. That's what I did, and hope to continue throughout the week.
Dennis already has an invite to the NFL Combine, so he'll be in Indianapolis in March. He also will have a draft party in Pittsburgh in April, hoping to hear his name called. I've heard from scouts this week his leadership, his intangibles, and his coverage ability have stood out. I think he's going to land around the 3rd or 4th round. Reporting live from Mobile, Alabama at the Senior Bowl, I'm Pitt to the Point City sports reporter Nick Faribaugh. Jamie, Josh.
Great work as always, Nick. Coming up, student protests for Tyree Nichols. The Pitt News has the latest.
Our new college and high school segment is here, and we'll have the next generation of anchors from Montour High School.
And how much of our brains do we actually use? We may now have a better idea.
All that and more right here on Pitt to the Point.
They come here, forged in the spirit of change, pushing to answer the questions, and then questioning the answers, embracing each challenge as fuel for reinventing the world. Because here, leadership, courage, creativity, innovation, and progress are always in progress. The University of Pittsburgh. Forge ahead.
Welcome back to Pitt to the Point. With so many newsworthy events happening here on campus, it can be hard to keep up with all of it. That's where our newspaper, the Pitt News, comes in.
Here are the top headlines from our award-winning newspaper. It's the Pitt News.
Pittsburgh Regional Transit could change several bus routes to accommodate the new Bus Rapid Transit program. This will affect many bus lines that run through Oakland, including the 61D, 71A, 71C, and 71D. Saturday's men's basketball game against ranked Miami Hurricanes ended in an upset. The Panthers beat the Hurricanes 71-68. With 2 minutes and 26 seconds remaining, Pitt went on an 11-0 scoring run to win the game. This past Sunday evening on the corner of Forbes and Oakland Avenue, around 50 people gathered to mourn the death of Tyree Nichols and protest for police accountability. Many students spoke at the protests, expressing their frustration over Nichols' death.
Cover the changes to the PRT routes just because, I'm definitely interested in transportation issues, and this is something that affects students, affects faculty. Well, as far as students are concerned, we'll probably see the greatest impact with the reduction in routes downtown. They hopefully reach out to us, and then from there I was able to connect with some riders. And so this was able to come together really well.
You can find these stories and more at thepittnews.com or at one of their many newsstands across campus. We here at Pitt to the Point are so excited to present a new segment that gives high school broadcasters a platform to show off their skills and present what is important in their communities.
That's right, Josh. We have students from several Pittsburgh and Lancaster County high schools ready to show us what's happening in their areas. Today, we are fortunate enough to be joined by the talented anchors of Montour High School's The Bus Loop.
So, Montour High School, why don't you take us on a ride through your community?
Hello, Jamie and Josh. Thank you so much for having us here on this Friday morning. February 10th, 2023 will mark the 13th year of the Nucci Finney 2v2 basketball tournament at Montour High School. The Nucci Finney tournament honors 2 former Montour basketball players, Brandon Shirelli and Brian Finnegan, and provides money for the Nucci Finney Scholarship Fund. With such a loss, how can a community come together to honor their legacy and spread awareness of this devastating story?
Passed away on their way to a Friday senior night game. They were driving to the game and sadly lost control of their vehicle. That night, the Spartans could have tied for the Section 5 title in WPIAL Class 4A. Just a few days later, Nucci and Finney would have turned 17. It was a devastating loss for the Montour community, but this tragedy brought everyone closer together. Earlier this week, Mrs. Shirelli told us this. When they lost Brian and Brandon, Montour and its surrounding communities came to them offering support and donations like no one could imagine. The boys' parents decided to use that money to start a scholarship in memory of their sons, also funded through an annual golf outing. Their scholarship is given to a senior boy and girl who Montour staff believes has the same values as Nucci and Finney. They receive a plaque, a check, and then have their names displayed in the main high school lobby. But how did this tournament come to be? 2 Montour seniors, Jimmy Scrolli and Aaron McGee, started Nucci Finney Day, a 2-on-2 tournament as a fundraiser to raise money for the scholarship fund. Last year, the $2,390 made in the tournament went towards the overall $10,000 awarded to each winner. 13 years later, the tournament is still a success. Mrs. Scurelli says that the hardest part of their journey is living each day without their babies, who would have been 39 in 2 weeks. The accident changed their lives forever, and the hole created in our hearts and soul can never be mended. It is so very difficult, and it does not get easier or less painful as the years progress. We are very thankful to those who continue to reach out, offer us support, and love and remember our boys. The tournament is a wonderful event, greatly appreciated by the Shirelli and Finnegan families.
This year's tournament is on February 10th. Teams have already been made, and they are excited to battle it out on the court 1 week from today. Here from Montour High School's Bus Loop, I'm Mia Sayanovich. And I'm Ava Stropke. Jamie, Josh?
Thanks, guys. Man, I think our jobs are in danger here. We got a next wave of great broadcasters. Guys, how much money are you expecting to make in the tournament this season?
So like we said, the average amount, at least last year, was around $2,000. So we're hoping to get at least $3,000 this year, which will then go to the Nucci Finney Scholarship, which is $10,000 for each boy and girl that receives it.
Well, thank you so much, Mia and Ava. Really appreciate it and hope the tournament goes well for you all.
Thank you.
Now, it's often said that humans use only a certain percentage of their brains. However, a new study at Pitt has shown that one part of the brain is responsible for recognizing faces and voices.
For more on this discovery from Pitt researchers, we turn to our Medical Minute reporter, Joey Tebben. Joey, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Josh. You know, the brain, it never ceases to amaze us. It's the most complicated organ in the human body. It's the only organ that named itself. And every day at the University of Pittsburgh's Department of Neurological Surgery, they're continuing to make breakthroughs in understanding how the heck that thing up there actually works. In today's Pitt to the Point Medical Minute, we take a look at one of these most recent breakthroughs, that recognizing people's faces and recognizing people's voices happens in the same part of the brain. And it might be a part of the brain you didn't know you had.
Say hello to your brain. Specifically, say hello to the part highlighted in yellow here. That's your fusiform gyrus. Fusiform meaning spindle-shaped and gyrus meaning a fold in the brain. The fusiform gyrus is a part of the brain that experts still don't know everything about. Multiple studies suggest the fusiform gyrus helps to recognize visual stimuli like colors, words, and people's faces and bodies. But in a recent study by the University of Pittsburgh's Department of Neurological Surgery, researchers suggest that this part of the brain also plays a role in recognizing people's voices. So let's do a little experiment of our own right here. Whose face is this? You got it? Now whose voice is this?
Today I say to you that the challenges we face are real.
Same guy? Well, despite the fact that you perceive Barack Obama, I assume, through two different senses, this new study suggests that the same part of your brain, the fusiform gyrus, did work for both your facial recognition and your voice recognition. In the experiment from the study, a patient was shown a color image, then a voice clip of either Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, or George W. Bush, chosen because of their universal recognizability. Electrodes implanted inside the patient's brain measured the brain's electrical signals, so researchers could identify what specific part of the brain was responding to these stimuli. After tests with 5 patients, the team was able to suggest that people use the fusiform gyrus to not only recognize faces, but recognize voices as well. So what do researchers do with this information in the future? Well, the study opens with the sentence, "The ability to recognize a voice quickly and effortlessly is crucial to our everyday life. More deeply understanding how the brain recognizes faces and voices allows medical professionals to more effectively treat those with disorders that make them struggle with those very things." And that's what medical research at the University of Pittsburgh is all about, helping people through innovation.
There's still so many unanswered questions in the world of the brain, specifically in the complicated and uncharted world of the fusiform gyrus. But at Pitt's Department of Neurological Surgery, they're going to keep thinking about thinking. For Pitt to the Point, I'm your medical reporter, Joey Tebben. Jamie and Josh, my fusiform gyrus recognized you.
Thank you for that, Joey. From Pro Football Hall of Famer Dan Marino to business tycoon David Tepper, right on down to Fred Rogers' neighborhood, it's safe to say the University of Pittsburgh boasts a wide array of accomplished alumni.
Each week, we'll spotlight one Panther graduate to hear about their life, work, and the effect they've had on their community.
And this week's alumni is providing their community with education.
My name is Virginia Hill, and I graduated from the University of Pittsburgh December 13, 2014. I came to Environmental Charter as their founding principal. I've since moved to the K-5 Executive Director of Academics, and I am currently holding the interim COO position as well. I thoroughly would tell people, go to Pitt. It was an amazing experience. Just meeting so many people, talking to them about things that mattered, really delving in and to develop my own racial identity, being around so many ethnicities and religions, as well as strong academics. In the future, I really would like to be a part of education policy. I would like to sit down and write some of the policy that occurs. That would be my dream, is to sit down and really impact policy as a practitioner, as someone who's in a school, who knows how the effects of policy impacts our students, impacts our teachers, impacts our communities. I would really like to influence some change.
Well, Groundhog Day has come and gone, and our team met up with Punxsutawney Phil to see if he saw their shadow.
You know the saying, shoot or shoot? Well, this club at Pitt takes that literally. All that and more when we return on Pitt to the Point.
So one inventive tool that the University of Pittsburgh has is Pitt Funds Me. So Pitt Funds Me is for outside scholarships that you can review and apply for as well. There's 8,000 plus scholarships on that website. These scholarships have been vetted as good and reliable resources, so you can guarantee that these are not resources that are trying to steal money or trying to scam you in any way. Any student has access to this, even admitted students who have not deposited yet. When you go into your my.pitt.edu, you'll want to search in the Ask Kathy box, Pitt Funds Me, and make sure instead of an S in Pitt Funds Me, you're going to put a $sign. That will allow you to go into the portal to be able to look at all the outside scholarship opportunities that fit your specific profile. They will ask several questions. You do not have to answer all questions or any questions if you don't want to, but the more questions you answer, the more opportunities that become available to you to apply.
Welcome back to Pitt to the Point.
You know, Jamie, it seems that almost every time we have Pitt to the Point, it's always snowing.
I've noticed that too, Josh, and I don't like it, quite frankly. Fortunately, the world's most famous groundhog, Punxsutawney Phil, may or may not have predicted an early spring.
Yeah, and for more on that and whether he saw his shadow, we have our entertainment reporter, Natalie Bellin. Natalie?
Punxsutawney is a small, quaint town, but one day each year, Punxsutawney becomes the most famous town in all the world. And it's all because of a historical tradition that began over 100 years ago. It's a tradition centered around a groundhog named Phil, who predicts the weather based on whether he sees his shadow or not. People come from all over to partake in the festivities, like myself and my producer, Macy Zahner, as well as thousands of Pittsburghers excited to celebrate Groundhog Day.
Welcome to Punxsutawney, weather capital of the world. I can assure you this event is more than just about a disgruntled weatherman named Phil Connors who works at a fictitious TV station called WPBH-TV Pittsburgh, where our first stop was Punxsy Phil's Cakes and Steaks for a bite to eat with all of the locals who were also heading to the Groundhog Day festivities. Once we made it to the town, we saw some of the local activities, such as Phil himself. Then, we saw Derek Wood's band perform for their Groundhog Day performance. Derek was generous enough to give us an interview about his experience growing up and attending Groundhog Day, and now being able to perform.
As a kid, going to see Punxsutawney Phil come out, it was a really cool experience that I've always remembered. We were there with family and we had a cabin nearby, and we went super early in the morning, and there was tons of people crowded in the woods, and it was just so many different things about the experience that really stuck in my memory. And now, being older and actually being a part of the whole celebration, it's just a really awesome thing to be a part of. Being on national news is always an amazing thing for the band. We love to be seen anywhere we can, and especially if we're up on stage performing for such a great event. Congratulations, Phil, on your induction into the Meteorologist Hall of Fame.
Punxsutawney Phil, ladies and gentlemen.
While we were out and about in the town, we saw a children's book written by a Pitt alumni, Nicole Leckenby, who also gave us an interview.
This is actually a picture of the book. And last year on Groundhog Day, a friend of mine sent me the link so I could watch the live performances in Punxsutawney when it was happening. And a band, the Derek Woods Band, started singing a song that they wrote for Groundhog Day. And I got an idea for this book. So I sent them a message and asked if I could use the song in the book, and then it kind of went from there.
We can see why Groundhog Day and the Derek Woods Band was such a great topic for Nicole's book. We also talked to some other attendees about their experience.
All right, we're here in Punxsutawney with the Storm Lord. What do you have to say about the people who don't believe in Phil's shadows, like weather predictions?
People who don't believe in Phil's shadows. Well, you should be ashamed of yourselves.
After talking to the Storm Lord, we ran into 3 members of Phil's inner circle.
We already met Phil, so that was the highlight.
We met Phil.
We met Phil.
Did you-
Over at the meet and greet over across the street. Yeah. I would like spring. Yes. Hashtag no shadow.
Went to the dinner with Phil and the inner circle.
We are official.
Yeah, we're official
Punxsutawney
members.
Phil. We have cards and everything.
Happy Groundhog's Day!
Happy Groundhog's Day!
And that magical day was Groundhog Day. Phil, on behalf of Pitt to the Point, we would like to congratulate you on your induction to the Meteorologist Hall of Fame. For Pitt to the Point, I'm entertainment reporter Natalie Bellin. Jamie?
Thanks, Natalie. With over 600 clubs on campus, there's a lot of extracurricular activities to choose from.
Anything from stock market analysis to talk about the latest Disney movies. Suffice to say, if you have an interest or hobby, Pitt probably has a club for you.
And if you like bows and arrows, you're in luck, because this week our team got to meet with the president of the archery club.
Shooting a bow and arrow is an exhilarating activity that requires careful skill and coordination. And this week in our Clubbing at Pitt segment, we are taking a closer look at the archery club here at the University of Pittsburgh.
The basics about it is just, we're here to teach everyone how to shoot, enjoying it. We supply everything. And it's really just to have fun with friends, get that stress out. We love that everyone likes to learn this sport. And it's very interesting to learn, shooting bows and arrows is not something you see every day.
In late February, the competitive group will be traveling to the Archery Indoor Nationals and will represent Pitt in the collegiate category.
We're shooting with all the universities across the United States. That includes Columbia, James Madison University, Texas A&M, any of the UCLAs. We're all shooting at different times, but all the scores get compiled together. But it's really just about representing the sport at a collegiate level.
The archery club offers these competitive opportunities for members while also being a fun recreational activity for those looking to socialize and learn something new.
I was wondering one day if Pitt had an archery team, so I just looked it up on Instagram, and I found their Instagram, and so I signed up that day and came, and now it's a semester later, and I can say with pride that I've improved so much.
For those interested in joining, students can go to the social media or websites of the club to sign up and get started.
Pitt football has a new quarterback. All the info you need to know about why he chose Pitt and how his play style will affect the Panther offense.
And quarterback is not the only position changing this upcoming season. We've got inside info on 3 transfers looking to make a name for themselves in the blue and gold.
All this and more coming up on Pitt to the Point.
Hello and welcome back to Pitt to the Point.
Pitt football has come a long way the past couple seasons, finishing with a top 25 ranking both times.
Our Pitt sports reporter Tanaje Riera attended the introductory press conference of the new Panthers quarterback Phil Jurkovec. What's the word on him, Tanaja?
Slovis transfers to BYU, Phil Jacobek now comes to the Pitt Panthers as their new quarterback. He will be returning home as he's from Pittsburgh and from Pine Richland High School, right here in the Pittsburgh area. He was ranked number 55 overall nationally and number 4 overall nationally as a dual quarterback. Also, he was ranked number 2 in Pennsylvania. After high school, and then transferred to Boston College in 2019, where he played for 2 years. Phil will also reunite with his previous offensive coordinator, Frank Signetti Jr., for this upcoming season.
It's success the last 2 years. There's a lot of hardworking people and winners on this team. They won, obviously, a couple years ago, and this past year they had success. 9 wins, that's not where they want to be, which I really like that attitude that they're not happy with 9 wins, but they still had a lot of success this past year.
Pitt has also have 2 other transfers, safety Donovan McMillan and running back Derek Davis Jr. Both are excited to play with Phil next season, as they all have came home and have hailed to Pitt.
Donovan McMillan came out of Peters Township and took his talents down south to be a Florida Gator straight out of high school. He was a 4-star recruit and has 2 years left of eligibility to play football at the collegiate level. As for Derek Davis, he came out of Gateway and was also a 4-star recruit and went to LSU straight out of high school. He has 3 years left of eligibility to play football at the collegiate level. I think it is safe to say that these men will likely make a long-term impact for the Panthers at running back, safety, and quarterback. There was a small press conference held at the UPMC Rooney Sports Complex.
I think Pitt is whenever I went through the whole process and being able to come back to the city that I'm from, like 30 minutes south, it just all went together. I think Dues and the whole staff is really just making something happen right now. You know, the 2021 ACC championship, for example, like that was an exciting thing to see and watch. Not seeing a ACC championship in a while, and I'm excited to be a part of that and go win another one.
Honestly, I feel like it's still the same vibe. The coaches, the staff, they show the same love they were showing to me when I was still in high school, and that's why I really love the university and the staff, to be honest with you. They kept it 100 with me, and I kept it 100 with them, and other than that, like, we just collaborated very well, like PB&J, something like that.
All 3 of these men will be very important pieces for the Pitt Panthers next season. Phil will most likely start as the new QB for the 2023-2024 Pitt football season. Also, on November 16th, Phil will play Boston College right here in Pittsburgh at Acrisure Stadium. To see next season's schedule and for all other updates on the Pitt football team, follow them on Instagram and Twitter at Pitt_FB. From Pitt to the Point, I'm your Pitt sports reporter, Tanaja Riera. Jamie, Josh?
Thanks. Coming up, this vocal group is spreading their chants all over the Pitt community.
See why you should go out and see their concerts and how they've sung together for over 20 years.
So stay tuned right here on Pitt to the Point. Welcome back to Pitt to the Point. Major politicians, entertainment gurus, and some of the most influential Pitt Panthers. There is something for everyone here at Pitt to the Point, so be sure to catch every single one of our shows.
And if for some reason you missed part of the show or missed the show entirely, you can go right onto our website, pittothepoint.com, and it'll have all the information there.
Good advice, Josh. Now, right here in the heart of the Pitt community is Heinz Chapel, home to a group of chanting vocalists that have been singing for over 30 years.
For more on the Compline Choir and what makes the group so special is our City Beat reporter, Jordan Sapp. Jordan?
Well, Heinz Chapel is one of Pittsburgh's most iconic landmarks. Not many people know about one of their signature services, the Pittsburgh Compline Choir. Each week, the choir gathers to sing Compline, a late-night Christian worship service that dates back to the medieval era.
It comes from the monastic tradition of the monks back in the 8th, 9th century when they were holding a service every 3 hours to adhere to the biblical command of praying without ceasing. It's very prayerful, it's meditative, contemplative, quiet. It's all sung, almost entirely all sung, and it's just beautiful music. To be able to have a place where you can, on a regular basis, explore that repertoire. There really isn't another group like it in the city. The service is about 30 minutes, so it's relatively short. And out of that 30 minutes, probably 23 minutes is all sung.
So we perform every Sunday during the academic calendar year for Pitt at Heinz Chapel. Anyone can be in the Compline Choir. If you're interested in joining, please send an email to Dr. Mark Boyle, and he will be happy to set up a time to meet with you and see if this is the right ensemble for you.
We are a community-based ensemble, not connected to a specific congregation. We're connected to a ministry that services, it's the Lutheran ministry that services the campuses in Pittsburgh. And we sing this service in a institution that is a state-related institution. There's no other choir like us in the country. So that's kind of neat that that's how we exist.
If you'd like to hear more from the Pittsburgh Compline Choir, visit their YouTube page for past performances or come see a service in person. For Pitt to the Point, I'm your City Beat reporter, Jordan Sapp. Jamie, Josh?
Thank you so much, Jordan. Now, I have to ask, how has being non-denominational benefited the choir?
Well, you know, it keeps the choir open to all people, so everyone feels welcome.
Thank you much for that, Jordan. Ladies and gentlemen, loyal viewers, Pitt to the Point 2023 is off and running.
For the next 11 weeks, Pitt to the Point will be coming to you live at this very same time.
You can catch a replay of the show on CBSN, KDKA's TV streaming platform, every Saturday at 12 noon.
And please go to all our social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Am I missing something?
Don't forget Facebook.
Oh, of course, for the oldies out there.
Of course. Thank you for tuning in today.
Until next Friday, I'm Josh Byrne.
And I'm Jamie Ely. We'll see you next week on Pitt to the Point.